Hey everyone, letting everyone in, starting a little bit early just to make sure that we can get people inside. Glad to have you all here so far. I'm standing in for Ethan today. He's on vacation, so I'm Emrys, his assistant. I'll introduce myself more properly in a little bit. Hi everyone, welcome in. We're not going to start quite yet, but I just wanted to say hello. Thank you for joining. My name is Emrys. I'm Ethan's assistant, so I'll be hosting today. And we'll get started in just a couple minutes. Just going to give it another minute or two just to see if anyone else is on their way in, and then we can get started in just a second. Okay, well, hello and welcome everybody to another Radio Piano Tech Radio Hour. My name is Emrys. I'm Ethan's assistant. He's on vacation, so I'm hosting for today. So, like I said, welcome in. We're going to be sharing a conversation that we recorded the other day with Hannah Reimann, who is a performer, pianist, teacher here in the US, as well as Fanny Steingraeber, who is part of the Steingraeber piano tech family over in Bayreuth, Germany. So, I hope you enjoy that conversation, and we'll get that video started in just a second. Thank you so much.
All right, welcome everyone to today's program. We're having a special pre-recorded session today in order to facilitate schedules. I myself am actually on my way to the Disney World Park here in Florida. And at the same time, I'm meeting with someone in New York and someone in Germany. Um, and we have Hannah Reimann back with Stretto Piano talking about the small key movement in piano. And today she has brought along with her Fanny Steingraeber. Um, we've had Udo on previously a few times, and we're passing the torch to the next generation today. I'll do the intro for the show so everybody knows what we're doing and where we're at. If you're out there on social media, YouTube, Facebook, sometimes we'll sign off about 15, 20 minutes in. So our live Zoom session. And then if we do so, we'll put a link in the chat so that you can hop in here. But without further ado, I'll introduce the session. This is Piano Tech Radio Hour. And it's brought to you by Piano Technicians Masterclasses. It's an online learning resource that brings you cutting-edge instruction from piano industry masters without leaving your home. Each week, we gather on Saturday to meet with and learn from the most fascinating and knowledgeable folks in the piano world, including manufacturers, builders, musicians, makers of other instruments, and of course, piano techs. Our mutual goal is to become better at our craft, to help each other, and to create an ever more musical world together. You can find out more about Piano Technicians Masterclasses at pianotechniciansmasterclass.com. You can also subscribe to Piano Tech Radio Hour for just $16 a month. You get direct access to each week's private Zoom call, which we're doing now, as well as archival recordings to over 175 episodes, or actually it's now over 185 in our member area. And you can join Piano Tech Radio Hour by using the link bit.ly/join-ptrh, bit.ly/join-ptrh. And I will now hand it over to Hannah to introduce the rest of this. Reimann, right? I'll introduce Hannah to introduce Fanny and take it over for the day. Thanks everyone for joining us.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Ethan.
Thank you, Ethan. I'm so happy to be here with all of you. This is Hannah Reimann speaking to you from New York City, and I have a few different things to share about Stretto piano concerts before I introduce Fanny Steingraeber so she can speak at length about Steingraeber piano and what they have been doing with narrow keys. So a couple of really exciting things happened. This week. We got a $5,000 donation so that we could support a concert of the music of David Amram, which will be part of the festival that we have May 25th through 2nd, 2024. It's just such a wonderful thing. Emrys, can you highlight me? I don't know if I'm highlight. Anyway, we're very excited about that because that just gives us a little bit of time to focus on other concerts that we can fundraise for other artists, and we have a whole roster of some stars, which I will share with everybody. Please find me on Instagram, Hannah Reimann Music, or go to strettopianoconcerts.org and write to me if you'd like to be on our mailing list. I will inform you about all the exciting events that will be happening May 25th through June 2nd, 2024. So yesterday I went to the Park Avenue Armory here in New York City, and I had the opportunity to play a Manvignoli curved key piano, and I'm going to ask Emrys, Ethan's assistant, to put the video up of that. Cut it.
Very nice.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I just wanted to show people that it actually is not very difficult to adjust. I missed a few notes, but it was the first time I was playing this instrument, and it was really exciting. It was very, very enjoyable to be um, doing something new. And it was less movement like this, obviously, and more movement like this. So, one of the things that smaller people have to do is use our elbows and our arms a lot.
Yes. Yes.
And it was just, a bit more comfortable. And the gallery that had this booth at the winter show, it's like this young collectors winter show. There's hundreds of booths from all over the world selling art, and there was this gorgeous piano. So they invited me back to play tomorrow, and I'll be hopefully bringing one of our stretto artists, if he's available, Roland Puntanen, who's a Swedish pianist who happens to be giving a concert at Juilliard this weekend. He was part of our 2022 festival live events in New York, and a dear friend of mine, a fabulous pianist, just incredible. So I'm very excited about that. And next, and for the Lunar New Year and like a pre-Valentine's Day thing, I'm going to be playing my little red Schoenhut string grand piano, which is, nobody knows these pianos, so I'm going to share a little bit about that piano too. Give me just a moment to share on my screen here more. So that's video is about 10 years old, but I have a history, exploring pianos, trying to convince piano companies to make pianos with little keys for like the past 25 or 30 years. So because I have been so passionate about that all my life, it is an enormous pleasure for me to introduce Fanny Steingraeber and the marvelous developments that Steingraeber Piano has accomplished with pianos with narrow keys and other innovations, which she will share about. So,
thank you very much, Hannah. Thank you very much. It is so nice being here. So thank you for the invitation as well. And it's also interesting to hear from your long experience in the search of innovations in the piano industry. So you really have a clue about what's going on. So that is very nice, because when I hear you talking, I really feel that the main thing, which is that the piano industry never stands still. You sometimes think that these constructions, the basis of all the constructions, are very old, and there haven't been these big innovations for a long time, but you can work on them. You can still change something and make it better for the right persons who need it. So, but first of all, for everyone who maybe doesn't know Steingraeber, so I'm from Bayreuth in Germany, so in southern Germany, and we are the oldest piano manufacturer from the high-end pianos. And so we are a family business since already 1820. So we had 200th anniversary already, and are now in the 7th generation. And we produce completely in Bayreuth. So you are all very welcome to visit us, preferably in summer times. It's a little bit nicer, maybe. But we have very old-fashioned workshops, and we are very small. So this is really the good thing for being innovative. All our innovations we made the last years or decades maybe now, they are coming from that we are so small, so we can react very fast. And if a pianist is coming to us asking for a solution, we can try out how it works. And this in the highest quality range of instruments. And so this is where the contact started with Hannah as well, with the narrow keys we made. There it started 1.5 years ago, that the Music University of Nuremberg, they asked us for a narrow keyboard into a Steinway. So we fitted it into a Steinway, and then directly at the same time, there was coming a private customer also asking for narrow keys, and we realized that it's quite needed by some persons. That when you're not able to play with something, then you should change it, right? And overthink, why is it like this? And this is mainly coming that the piano constructions and also the sizes of the keyboards, they are coming from Middle Europe, and they are coming from the male composers mainly. So you can overthink it and think about, okay, maybe for women, in the most cases, it fits better to have smaller keys or narrow keys. So if you want, I can first of all to show you some pictures maybe of the pianos we made. I would ask Emrys for the presentation, because they are quite different, and of course there are some difficulties from the manufacturer's side, what you have to do when you build in narrow keys. Yeah, this was the Steingraeber upright with an even 5.5-inch keyboard, so even smaller. So you see with the blocks on the side, it's very, very, very small. And yeah, the customer was coming to us. He was from London. He was coming to us and seeing how it works out with the piano. And he sat down playing the first time Liszt in Rachmaninoff, and said, "Oh wow, I imagined that my whole life, but I could never do it. I just imagined it," and he played perfectly. And now he has a good friend with him, which fits to him.
How many of these uprights have you sold to date? Do you know?
Yes, I know. Only this single one.
Okay. And
Yes.
are they made on custom order, or do you have any in your showroom now?
We have a salon brand in our showroom.
Okay.
So one piano, but we do them on order, because sometimes I have a customer in the moment, for example, who told me that he has very small hands, but also quite wide hands. So for him, for example, we try out to even make the black keys more narrow, because then he can go in between the black keys. So this is all the time very customized, because it's individual. The hand size is individual, and what you play and how you play. And we simply try to find out together with the customer what fits best, then what keyboard size fits best.
So the two sizes you offer are 5.5 and 6.0-inch octave, correct?
No, in the moment we don't offer the 5.5.
Okay, just 6.0.
Yes. Yes, in the moment we only get the 6.0, and we can do adjustments, like for example, the narrow black keys, for example. But we are looking for a 5.5 as well. That is even better than.
Well, I want to mention to everyone who's watching that Stretto Piano Concerts and the International Stretto Piano Festival are so excited that Steingraeber will be having a concert during our festival
Yes.
period on Thursday, May 30th.
Mhm.
So you'll hear more about that too. We're
Yes,
so
definitely.
thrilled to be working together.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it so much. I'm hoping to do a live stream so that everyone can see it as well. We keep you updated.
Definitely,
Yes.
definitely.
Okay, so maybe you can switch to the next foil, because these are simply just impressions of how they look. Oh, this is very interesting because I mixed it up. That was the first piano we made, and the Steinway was the second one. We had to test it out a lot because we didn't really have an expertise. So there were 252 hours of playing in the factory. So on block the whole time with a high pressure. You have completely different angles and frictions when you change the keyboard size. So you have to try out and even push it a little bit harder, the piano. So we always do these stress tests with every piano, but there normally you don't need such a long time so that everything is on its spot. But for this piano, we took a lot of time. On the next page, there are some points how to influence it even a little bit more, because that is an interesting point from the history and the development of the keyboard. So this is the where to start? So it is that concert halls went bigger and bigger in the 18th and 19th century, and so also the pianos had to become louder and getting more sound. So here you see how the keys changed from 6mm key dip in Mozart's time to 7 to 8mm Beethoven and Chopin time, 7 to 9 is the Liszt time, 9mm Brahms, for example. And then that went up to, in 2010, 11mm for a Steinway concert grand. And now from 2017 on, everyone in the piano industry is at 10.2mm. So that's standard. But you see on the side that even with the 10.2mm of key dip, a pianist of today needs 70% more energy than Mozart. So it really is something different in the art of playing and the feeling of the playing. Hannah, I think you can imagine it when you play historical instruments. You have such a short way with your finger.
Yes, and children really have a hard time with my Steinway grands. You know,
Yeah.
I teach when I've taught 4 and 5-year-olds, I actually had my Stretto keyboard action weighted differently. So
That's
the
good.
keys on my piano, I told Kluge I would like a child prodigy to be able to play whatever they want with ease on this piano. And we talked about, then the technician I was working with, we talked about which weights we would use. We talked about, how it would feel before having it rebuilt. So I'm totally on the same page with you there. You know, when I don't know if the 4 or 5-year-old Mozart would have been writing the music that he wrote if he had
that's a good
concert
question.
grand that was built in 2023.
Yeah, true. I had a little girl, she's coming to our showroom quite often and playing the narrow keys. And because she said when she's playing the narrow keys, she can really focus on how she plays. She
Yes.
doesn't have to focus on to grab the keys. she has really time in her brain to think about how I want to play like this. I want to touch the piano like this.
If you would like to include some children in the festival, we have 2 child prodigies who are going to be playing in New York. One is 6, and she's already played Carnegie 3 times, and the other one is 9. She's the student of one of our artists from Texas. They're both Chinese. So we'll share more about this.
Yes.
It's great that you have kids coming in and playing. Yeah, you don't have to think about conquering the obstacles with an instrument that doesn't quite match who you are physically, and you can make music. It's all about
right.
music.
It's about making music, right?
That's right.
So this really makes a difference when you change the key dip and change the key dip back to a little bit lower as well. But of course, you have to imagine that the sound changes as well. Not only the touch, but the sound, because the hammers go closer to the strings, so you won't get that much force. And this is why we have the interchangeable solution. So on the right side of the keyboard, there's a little rail, and there you can turn the keyboard down. So it goes from 10.2 millimeters to 8 millimeters. And this is very nice in the combination with the narrow keyboard. So people with smaller hands really enjoy it a lot. Okay, we can go on the next page. I think that is the video of one of our children playing the 5.5.
Ja, Julian, das ging ja richtig gut. Du hast
Oh,
dich
that's
jetzt
German.
in
I'm
einer
sorry.
Stunde an diese Klaviatur gewöhnt.
This is my father asking Julian how it was. And he said he can switch quite fast, and that he can play more fluent. But you realized while he played that it is easier for him to make fluent and faster parts of the pieces.
Well, wunderbar.
You understand a little German?
Ein bisschen, ja.
Sehr gut.
Mein Vater war von Berlin
Ach,
geboren.
tatsächlich. Ach, schön. Nice. So we could also do it in German from now on.
Oh no, my German is not so good, but it's wonderful to hear the German language. It's wonderful to see and hear all of this. Oh, it's so exciting, Fanny.
Thank you. We can also see the second video with the piano teacher from Julian playing. And she had needed a little bit more time to adapt, of course, because she's more professional and normally doesn't look on the keys when she's playing.
Right, right.
Again, the interview in German. Maybe you can watch this video with subtitles from YouTube. So
yeah. We'll include the links in the chat, maybe.
Yeah, perfect. Yes.
You know, why don't we do that? Actually, Emrys, can you help us with that?
That would be nice.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Let me grab those links for you.
Wonderful. Yeah,
Thank
just
you.
put them in the chat so that everyone who's watching can go to them. They can add subtitles. That's a great idea, Fanny.
Yeah, they are working quite well normally.
Well, as we move forward, it would be great to brainstorm things that we can do together. I know so many artists now, and every week something exciting happens. I would just hope we can keep thinking about ways we can work together to raise awareness. There may be, some media that we'll be doing that we'll want to reach out to you and have you make a statement or something, just because even though we're so engaged with this, so many people all over the world have no idea that this is happening.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
We're in a rarefied world, and like
Yeah.
going out to this art fair was so interesting for me because people care about pianos, but a lot of them didn't really even know that the keys were curved. They just saw a piano and they just saw someone playing. So there's we've accomplished so much, and it would be nice to share it with everyone.
Yeah, for a lot of people, a piano is a piano, and they don't see what's behind there. So this is what I try to show people also when I show our manufacturing, for example. So what is inside a piano? What is happening there? And this already is a piece of art, or no, it's more like a machine out of natural material. So already there's so much into it, but then there are all these steps coming what you can do. So for example, one of our innovations, which is very asked by a big variety of people mainly, so they're very diverse people, is our Steingraeber hybrid, the transducer piano. So yeah, so I shortly explained the technology behind that. Transducers are little boxes which are nearly all like that in every loudspeaker. So you put them on a membrane, and then the membrane vibrates. And they are on the soundboard. So they do the work which normally is done by the strings. But you can put every sound inside you want. So you're very flexible in the sound. And then you can start with completely different things. So our starting point for the transducer piano was a piano professor from Iran who wanted to play the Persian music. So he needed quarter tone tuning. And yeah, with the computer next to you, you can do it with one click. So we used the software Pianotech. And then it is very easy. Ah, nice. Thank you, Emrys. Here's the transducer piano. That's very good. Yeah, the most important is these little black things are the transducers. And yeah, the second part, besides of the different tuning, was that the composer told us he wants that the sound melts together from the traditional piano, the really acoustical piano, and some electronics, and this should melt together in the soundboard. So that was the aim with the transducer. And now I'm realizing, that's something else. It was our carbon fiber soundboard. Interesting as well, but mainly something for desert or ocean, so for difficult climates.
Incredible. This is magnificent, Fanny.
You should try it out someday.
Love it. I can't wait to try all of this.
Yeah, if it would be so nice if you would manage it to come to Nuremberg, because we will have a booth there. So that's the new music fair in Germany. We will have a booth with all these innovations. So we have the narrow keys, we have the carbon fiber soundboard, we have the transducer piano, we have also a lead-free concert grand, what is out of environmental reasons quite important to develop something like this as well. So we will have all of that.
I want to come. Now I really want to come.
Yeah, it would be fantastic.
About that, what about the Lucite clear piano?
The clear piano, you mean with the rim out of glass or something like this?
Didn't Steingraeber make a completely clear piano, or am I mistaking you for another company?
I think that was someone, who was it? Yeah, I know them. Wasn't it Yamaha?
Custom
Doing
order.
that?
Well, no, your
Yeah.
dealer in Connecticut had all kinds of catalogs. I thought it was Steingraeber. They had some kind of clear piano.
No, we stay with the wood, so we
Okay,
didn't do a clear piano, maybe the lid. That could be that this happened sometime.
maybe the lid. Okay.
For the East Coast in the US, we already made a carbon fiber soundboard, but it looked like this from the top as well. So now we put veneer on it, but it looked very futuristic to have the carbon fiber under the strings directly.
Is there any difference in sound?
It is, it is. So I would say you have a very clear sound, a little bit less overtones still. So these warm overtones, which you have definitely from the wood. So the carbon fiber soundboard can't replace a wood soundboard, but it makes sense if you are on a ship, for example,
Yeah,
or if you are close to the sea.
and I have
Um,
a house in Maine, and I've gone to this little island in Maine. It's all water world. I mean, we're all on
yes.
the water, and I
Right.
have noticed how pianos deteriorate out there.
Mhm. Yeah, it's not very good for the pianos.
Oh, I've heard, and I've heard other things. When I was piano shopping, I saw some pianos in Long Island that the soundboard will literally separate from the body, from the
Oh,
humidity and
yeah.
from the moisture in the air. Things separate, they warp. I learned a lot about that from searching for piano. So I'm very curious to play this.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, you have to try out. You have to. Because that really helps. And or another point where we had the carbon fiber soundboard, there was in Middle Europe, so it was Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. There was a Frank Sinatra tour going on, and they had 120 concerts in 90 days. So incredible. And it was February in Europe, so very cold. And then you have the hot stage and the cold car and driving around all the time. And they had also a chamber concert grand with carbon fiber soundboard. And they said afterwards they were so happy. They wouldn't have had the time for the tuning, which
right.
normally would be needed. Um,
Does it not need to be tuned as frequently, or like how long would a tuning last in
yeah.
comparison to a normal wooden soundboard?
So it would last like the piano wouldn't be in a difficult area. So you have to tune it also one time a year, for example.
Really?
Yes, yes. Or yeah, it's difficult to say because it changes so often when you have it in the desert area or in the ocean area. But then you won't have to tune it every month or something like this.
Wow,
And
that's
Hannah, I wanted to tell you a story also about something which has to do with the hands and the transducer piano. And I was quite surprised, but that's the left-handed piano. So for left-handed people, Emrys, this is not in the presentation because it's simply something coming from the software, from the transducer, that you can really change the whole keyboard, and then you have the treble on the bass side and the bass on the treble side. And there are really
you can use your fifth finger in a different way and your thumb in a different
yeah,
way.
yes, right.
Really, that's brilliant.
So this is interesting to confuse students, but mainly it's for people with who want it because they are left-handed. And they say they don't have enough strength in their right hand.
So this computer chip can control the piano in so many different ways.
Yeah, it's simply a laptop. So the easy thing about the transducer piano is that you only need two USB slots and plug them into your computer, and you don't have to download any software or something. You can use every single software. You can even use YouTube. You can use it then as a loudspeaker, as a very good loudspeaker, of course, because it's in a concert grand. But yeah, there you're free to choose what to do. And with the software Pianotech we use and we sell with the transducer piano, you can do everything what technicians do. So all the voicing and the tuning, and also change the construction of the piano. You can put the string length up to 10 meters, for example. So there's a lot to discover.
This is mind-blowing. No, this has
Yeah.
to be experienced, because the description of it, I'm sure, is just, kind of a prelude to a full sensory experience. Oh my God, that is
It's a whole different world then.
well,
And there come
to play microtonal music on a piano and to, play with different scales. It just opens up an entire new world of possibilities. Like, as a recording artist, I am on a meditation app. I've been invited to put my music on this meditation app. So I have different kinds of music that I write and play. And I've been actually thinking about buying a harmonium and buying maybe, some kind of microtonal instrument. I mean, one day I'm going to have this room with all these wonderful instruments in it, and I can just be like the Wizard of Oz. I could doing whatever I want to do. Yeah, it's good to know that pianos are unlimited, because there's more to them than just the curved black thing that's on stages.
Yes,
Right?
yes, right. And so much more to discover. So I'm really looking forward to all of that. And I really realized that all of there are some groups of people. So with you in the East Coast, but in Europe from some universities, some innovative universities who are really keen in trying out new things. So for the narrow keys, for example, there are now already coming composers who say, I can compose something completely different because I can grab more keys. So that is also very interesting to find out then. So you asked if there's a narrow key piano which can be played in our showroom. In the moment it isn't, because in the moment it's in Switzerland, in the university in Lucerne, for trying out. So and then afterwards it's at the EPTA conference with Professor Wohlwender holding a lecture on the narrow keyboards.
Is the Steingraeber narrow key grand piano, is that available to anyone? If I had an artist who wanted to try it in Lucerne, would they allow someone to come from outside?
I think so. I think so. I could ask, and maybe there's an appointment needed, but I think so. But also from March on, no, not from March on. We send it from university to university so that students can try out. So it will be away for some time, but then back, of course, for the 13th of May for the concert.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, perhaps you and I can, if you're comfortable sharing where it's going to be, I hear from artists all over the place asking to play pianos with narrow keys. I mean, that's like it's actually happened my whole life, and now I actually have answers for people. So there is an artist I would like to I would like her to have the opportunity to record a concert for us, because she may be at a festival during our festival. She's pretty up and coming artist. So let's discuss that separately.
Yeah, perfect.
There are other people in other European nations. Europe is so much easier to navigate in some ways than crossing the Atlantic, and even in the United States is so big.
Yes.
That even just going from California to New York, or Chicago to Texas, I know more European artists, and I would like to make more introductions so that we can just keep things flowing along. Not just with students, but with professionals who are playing concerts. And the fact that there will be these, number of venues, hopefully we'll have up to 10 or more during the festival, where there will be live concerts all over the world. It's notable. So I'm Thrilled to know. So the Switzerland and Germany and
Yes,
any other countries, or those two countries?
those two countries in the moment. Yes.
And maybe 4 or 5 universities, something like that?
Ah, no, it's 3 in the moment. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
So
Sarah,
step by step, because you need time to try out a piano, and there are so many people in the universities, so they need some time to really test it out. So it will be on one spot for some weeks then.
okay.
Emrys, maybe you can share again a photograph, because extra for you, Hannah, I brought a photograph of the grand piano, how it will be in the concert. So in the
Oh,
concert hall. It looks
oh,
quite small because it's a salon grand, but it will fill the room, so I'm sure.
I'm sure it will be fine. That's a 6 foot instrument or 7 foot?
Oh, I'm not so good in the foots. I
Oh,
think
or meters.
meters, it's 170.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know which slide number it's on so I can pull up the right one?
It should be maybe slide 18.
18.
I think so. Well, one of the
Okay.
last ones. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Cool.
Ah, yeah, right. Here you see it.
Oh, how lovely. Beautiful.
Yeah, so we called it the respectful piano because this is what we think. And Amris, when you can go one slide further, this is also interesting maybe for some people to watch. It's the changement of the keyboards,
Yeah.
because this piano is not only the 6.0 but also the 6.5, and then it's interchangeable to yeah, even more try out. And that's interesting also from the voicing part, because you could voice differently if you have 2 concert parts, for example. And the changing is really simple. So this video is coming quite soon.
Wonderful. Wonderful. My piano has 2 sets of action stacks as well. So I have
Oh,
I have an original 1900 keyboard, ivory keyboard that's 6.5 inches and octave, and my piano keyboard from the Strezzo one is 5.9 inches that was built in 1997. So I have, I take them out and switch them around, and I have different
nice.
cheek blocks and things. So yes, I know the procedure.
Ah, you know everything then very close.
Well, yeah.
Was it one of the first narrow keyboards you had, or the first?
Well, I did research and found out that there were keyboards. I actually went to Tokyo and played narrow keys at the Yamaha showroom in Ginza in the 1990s.
Oh, okay.
And I played Chris Donison's piano. Chris Donison and David Steinbuehler are the ones that make the keyboards. They used to be a team that David Steinbuehler now does on his own. So I met Chris Donison. I flew to Toronto to play his piano. And then I was married to a man who toured Japan twice a year. I was married to a famous viola player. And I used to travel with him. So I went to Japan. I did a lot of research. I know about a couple of Bösendorfer pianos that were rebuilt, I think in the 1980s. And I'm trying to track them down right now, actually. So this is an interesting story. This woman in New York named Cynthia Wood had 2 Bösendorfer pianos custom built to have smaller keys. And she very elegantly bequeathed them to a university in California, Cal Arts. And I think she did it very quietly because she just thought that they would love these little keys and a school would benefit from them. But what do you think they did as soon as they accepted these donations?
Good question.
They rebuilt the pianos to have normal keys, and they put the keyboards in a museum of the Piano Technicians Guild, which is not open to the public.
Really?
So I couldn't even visit these. This was like back in the 1990s. I mean, I really searched I talked to all the companies. I'm surprised I didn't talk to Steingraeber. I think I didn't know the European companies as well because, you know, I was a young concert pianist. I was pretty busy playing and working and teaching, and this
Yeah.
thing took over my life. And
Yeah.
I learned a lot about it. And then I decided, a long story short, there are many, many other details, but I just decided I'm going to rebuild my piano myself. And I had family friends who were, one who was a piano technician in Germany, and I found out, you know, who was making keyboards, and I had one ordered. So it was a laborious process, but you know, we joke about this. It's like we're like some of the pioneers. There was this man in Japan, Yoshino Nakada. There was Chris Donison. There was Cynthia Woods. There was Joseph Hoffman, and there were lots of other people. There were people from the Middle East. I talked to the companies and they would say, yeah, every year we make 2 or 3 of those. Not a lot, but somebody will order one. Some wealthy person who can afford a custom built piano will ask for smaller keys. So this has not been something that has ever stopped. It has been a continuous, there has been a continuous demand, however small, but it has been suppressed that it even exists. So it's taken 100.
No publicity for the narrow keys, right?
Huh?
And no publicity for the narrow keys. So normally the people, everyone has to search for him or herself, who is doing it, because you don't know who it does.
Well, and that's the main purpose of the festival, is that we're a marketing platform. We're a unique marketing platform that will share any small keys of any make of piano on a global basis to help people and to help educate people that, you know, this is something you can do. It's a wonderful thing to do, and it's all about making beautiful music. You know, like you said earlier, it's not about fighting. It's not about saying somebody's right or wrong. It's just about making beautiful music. So I'm excited that you were going to be hosting these artists who, you know, up until now didn't have as much of a choice. It's for giving choice. So.
Yeah, so really everyone is very welcome who want to try out the narrow keys. So I'm always looking forward to hear more because I'm not a pianist. So I can of course feel the difference and play with the difference, but I have a different view than maybe more the technical view or something. But then I was so surprised, and it's very warm when people coming and enjoy it so much playing the narrow keys, and that so one thing was mainly surprising, what I also hear from the Music University in Nuremberg, who have the Steinway with the narrow keys we made, that when they rehearsal on the narrow keys, they are better than on the standard keys. And this is simply because they don't need to use the force in spanning the hand like this the whole time while the rehearsal is. They can focus on something else. And this is why they have more left for the concert then, and yeah, more force in the hand left. So I think there are health reasons, there are mainly the artistic reasons. And yeah, I'm looking forward to hear more. So I'm looking forward to the Stretto concerts very much.
In full agreement. I mean, it really, one of my pitches in my earlier videos is at my practice time is cut in half. I mean, it's just, and in today's age where everybody's always talking about saving time, there's not enough time. We need time. I don't have to practice as much. I mean, it's almost, I don't even want to publicize it completely, but I should. You know, my piano is in this recording studio and I've hardly touched the piano because I haven't lived with my instrument since 2018. But I could make a record this fall. From the middle of September until the middle of November, I was playing some pretty difficult music. I couldn't have done that on my standard keys, you know, because it was less practice time, it was less stress, less strain. I've made a sacrifice by kind of giving my piano to the public, by putting it in public spaces since 2018. That's
quite a long time already.
Nearly 6 years, you know, and I miss my piano. but like yours, it's making its way around to let people know that it exists.
Yeah, and that's needed as well.
So, Fanny, are there any other things you would like to share to tell people about Steingraeber? Are there any other innovations or things coming up that you want to let them know? Because I think we should probably wrap up in a minute or so.
Yeah, I would say we talk more maybe on a second time, because I really enjoyed it being here. I told you before that I could talk hours and hours about our production and our other innovations we do. But let's do this another time. I think we now had a very good overview on this part.
What a great pleasure. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching today and for hearing what we both had to say. And thank you so much to Ethan Janney and to Emrys, his assistant. It's platforms like this that really can change the world. I mean, I've been doing these podcasts every month since last May, and the things I've learned and the people I've met, it's very valuable. So thank you so much to everyone. And I will
Thank
email
you.
you, Fanny, and
Yes.
we will hopefully get on Zoom soon as well. And my best to everybody out there. Okay.
Perfect.
Okay,
Goodbye.
okay. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
All right, and that is all we have for today. I hope you enjoyed that conversation. I know it was great to be a part of. As always, feel free to join us on pianotechniciansmasterclass.com. We have links to sign up to see the rest of our backlog of the radio hour, as well as all of our master classes. We had a recent one on oral piano tuning with Glenn Bingham. That's available for purchase either as a one-off or you can watch the recording as part of our subscription. There's links in the chat to all the videos mentioned and played today, and those should also be going up on the website when this episode is posted. Thank you all for joining us this week. It is a pleasure as always, and hopefully we'll see you next week. Thank you guys.